Here's something that almost nobody talks about honestly. Most people in their 20s and early 30s earning a decent income, covering their bills, going on the occasional vacation, they feel like they're doing okay. They feel like they're on track. But ask them one simple question. How long could you survive at your current standard of living if you stopped receiving a paycheck tomorrow? And the answer, for most people, is uncomfortable. Not years, not even months, weeks, maybe. Now, here's the interesting part. This isn't a story about being irresponsible. This isn't about overspending on lattes or going out too much. The people I'm describing, they work full-time. Some of them earn six figures. Some are in their mid-30s with a solid job title on LinkedIn. The issue isn't income. The issue is something deeper, something almost invisible. And the first time it becomes visible, the first time something actually changes in the way you think about money, the way you make decisions, the way you feel when you open your bank app, is the moment you cross a very specific number. $10,000. Not a million, not 100,000, just 10. Stay with me because what I'm going to explain in the next 10 minutes is not a budgeting tip. It's not a savings hack. It's a shift in psychology. And once you understand it, you'll never look at your finances the same way again. Let me introduce you to someone. I'll call him Alex. He could just as easily be Emma or James or Sophia. This story works for all of them. Alex is 27. He lives in a mid-sized American city, let's say Austin, Texas. He has a full-time job in marketing, earning $58,000 a year. That sounds decent, and before taxes, it is. After federal and state taxes, Social Security, and Medicare, Alex takes home roughly $3,800 a month. That's his real number, the one that actually matters. Now let's walk through his month. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Austin, $1,450. That's on the lower end right now, but it's realistic. Car payment, because public transit in Austin isn't really an option, $320 a month. Insurance on top of that, another $110. Student loan minimum payment, $280. He studied communications, graduated with $28,000 in loans, and he's been chipping away at it for 4 years. The balance barely moves. Groceries, utilities, phone, roughly $450 combined. That's $2,610 in fixed and near-fixed expenses before Alex has bought a single coffee, seen a single movie, or done anything that actually felt like living. He has $1,190 left. Now, think about what happens to that $1,190. There's a work lunch here, a birthday dinner there, a flight home for the holidays, a gym membership he keeps meaning to use, a streaming service or 4, a coworker's wedding gift, a parking ticket. At the end of a normal, unremarkable month, Alex saves between $150 and $300, sometimes nothing. If something breaks, a car repair, a medical copay, he might actually go backwards. And here's the thing, Alex doesn't feel broke. He doesn't feel reckless. He feels normal because he is normal. This is normal. For millions of people in the United States and across Europe, this is just Tuesday. But normal, in this case, is the problem. Here's the part that most personal finance content skips past because it's not exciting. There's no villain to blame, no conspiracy. Just a quiet, structural reality that most of us were never taught.
The American financial system, and to a very similar degree the European one, is built on one core assumption: that you will spend almost everything you earn and that you will spend it in a predictable, recurring way. Think about how products are sold to you. Almost nothing is priced as a one-time purchase anymore. It's a monthly payment. Your phone, your car, your software, your mattress if you bought it in the last few years, your gym, your entertainment, your security system. Each of these feels small individually. $9.99 here, $29 there, $129 for the annual plan you forgot to cancel. But the structure they create, collectively, is a kind of financial gravity. It pulls money out of your account on a schedule, automatically before you even have a chance to choose differently. And here's the math that makes it real. Monthly take-home, $3,800. Fixed and near-fixed expenses, $2,610. Subscription/lifestyle creep, $480, a conservative estimate. Left to actually save, $710, maybe. But that $710 is fragile. One irregular expense, and irregular expenses happen every single month, just in different forms, and it disappears. A car registration, a dentist visit, a flight for a funeral. Life is not a fixed expense. So Alex isn't failing. Alex isn't making dramatic mistakes. Alex is simply operating inside a system that wasn't designed to help him build wealth. It was designed to keep him spending consistently. And the result, after 5 years of working full-time, is that Alex has roughly $4,000 in savings. He's not in debt beyond his student loans. He's not in crisis, but he's also one bad month away from being in crisis. That's not freedom. That's a very comfortable-looking trap. So why doesn't Alex just cut expenses and save more aggressively? It sounds simple, and yet for most people it doesn't happen. Why? There are two psychological forces at work here that are worth understanding clearly, because once you see them, they lose a lot of their power. Human beings are wired to place much higher value on things that are immediate versus things that are distant. $100 in your hand right now feels worth more than $100 saved 3 years from now, even though mathematically the invested $100 is actually worth more. This isn't a character flaw, it's how our brains evolved. For most of human history, securing food and shelter today was genuinely more important than planning for next decade. But in the modern financial world, this instinct works against you constantly. Every marketing message, every subscription upsell, every buy now, pay later option, they're all engineered to exploit exactly this bias. Give me your money now. The benefit is immediate, the cost is abstract and future. The second force is more subtle and in some ways more powerful. We don't measure our financial situation in absolute terms, we measure it relative to the people around us. If everyone Alex knows is also living paycheck to paycheck, spending on weekends, financing cars, carrying credit card balances, then Alex doesn't feel behind. He feels normal. He feels like he's keeping up. In the United States, the median savings rate has hovered around 5 to 7% for years. In many European countries, it's higher on paper, but disposable income is also lower, and cost of living has risen sharply. The point is, the cultural average is not a good benchmark for building real financial security.
When everyone around you is doing the same thing, the alarm doesn't go off, and that's exactly when the damage accumulates most quietly. Let's stay with Alex for a moment and look forward, not with doom, but with clarity. If Alex maintains his current savings pace, somewhere between $150 and $300 a month, let's call it $200 on average, here's what the next decade looks like. $200 per month times 12 months times 10 years equals $24,000 saved. With modest 5% annual investment return, approximately $31,000. That's not nothing, but at 37, with potentially 25 to 30 years left before retirement, and considering that the average retirement needs are estimated at over $1 million to maintain a modest lifestyle, $31,000 is a very thin foundation. And here's what that number doesn't account for: inflation. $1 today is not $1 in 20 years. The apartment that cost $1,450 today might cost $2,200 in 15 years. Healthcare costs, historically, inflate faster than general prices. The math only gets harder with time. But more importantly, and this is what most long-term financial projections miss, there's an opportunity cost that's almost impossible to fully calculate. Every year that Alex stays below $10,000 in savings is a year he can't make real choices. He can't negotiate his salary as confidently because he needs this job too much.
He can't take a calculated risk on a career change because there's no runway. He can't say no to a bad living situation because moving costs money he doesn't have. Financial fragility doesn't just affect your bank account. It narrows every decision you make every day in ways you might not even consciously notice. So why is $10,000 the specific number I keep coming back to? Why not $5,000 or $20,000 or just save as much as you can? Because $10,000 is the threshold where the psychology changes, and the psychology is the whole game. Below $10,000, savings feel fragile. One expensive month, one car repair, one medical bill, one flight, and it could be gone. So psychologically, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel permanent. It doesn't change how you move through the world. But somewhere around the $8,000 to $12,000 mark, it shifts. Suddenly, your emergency fund is real. It could actually cover 3 months of expenses. You look at your bank account, and for the first time, you feel the difference between needing your next paycheck and simply receiving it. That feeling is not a small thing. That feeling is the foundation of every good financial decision you will ever make after it. How financially intelligent people actually think. People who build real wealth, not through inheritance, not through luck, but through consistent behavior over time, they don't think about money the way the consumer economy wants you to think about it. They don't ask, can I afford the monthly payment? They ask, is this how I want to deploy this capital right now? They don't save what's left after spending. They decide what to save first, and then they live on the rest. It sounds like a small distinction. It's actually an enormous one. There's a concept in behavioral economics called paying yourself first. It's not a new idea, but most people know it intellectually and still don't practice it because it requires a level of discomfort in the present that our brains are hardwired to resist. What changes at $10,000 is that you start to have evidence that you can live on less than you earn, evidence that the discomfort is temporary, but the security is permanent. Evidence that the version of you who saves is still capable of enjoying life, maybe even more so, because the low-grade anxiety of financial fragility is no longer in the background of everything. And here's the compounding effect that's almost too quiet to notice. Once you reach $10,000, reaching $20,000 is not twice as hard. It's easier. Because the habit is built, because the psychology has shifted, because you've proven to yourself that you are someone who saves, and that identity is surprisingly powerful. I want to be clear about something because this channel doesn't deal in false timelines.
If Alex, earning $3,800 a month after tax, commits to saving $500 a month instead of $200, it will take him roughly 20 months to reach $10,000. That's almost 2 years. That's not a weekend project. It requires real decisions. It probably means cooking at home more often. It probably means not financing a newer car. It might mean a difficult conversation about a subscription, a habit, or a lifestyle expectation. None of that is dramatic. None of it is suffering, but it does require deciding, clearly and deliberately, that the future version of you is worth the small friction of today. And for someone in Europe, say in Germany or the Netherlands or France, the math looks different on the surface because of different tax structures, different social safety nets, different cost of living dynamics. But the psychology is identical. The threshold moment is the same. The way money starts to feel at that number is the same. Because this isn't really about dollars or euros. It's about the experience of having a cushion that's real enough to change your behavior. So here's where we land. Your first $10,000 is not a retirement plan. It's not a get-rich number. It's not even that impressive on a spreadsheet. But it is the first time your relationship with money changes from reactive to something approaching intentional. Right now, if you're in the early stages of your financial life, the goal isn't to optimize a portfolio.
The goal isn't to find the perfect index fund allocation or tax loss harvesting strategy. Those things matter, but they come later. Right now, the goal is to cross that first threshold, to build the psychological foundation, to get to the point where your savings are real enough that they start to influence how you think, how you negotiate, how you make decisions about your time and your career and your life. Everything after that becomes clearer, not easy necessarily, but clearer. And for most people in their 20s and 30s in the United States or Europe, people who are earning and paying their bills and doing everything that looks like being responsible, that first threshold is closer than it feels. It just requires choosing it, specifically, over the steady gravitational pull of a system that wants you to spend instead. If you found this useful, not motivating, not exciting, just useful, that's what this channel is for. There's more of this kind of thinking coming. The subscribe button is there if you want it.